In chapter 6, when Chris McCandless meets Ron Franz, they Chris McCandless makes a leather belt, and on his leather belt, he puts symbols on it that are important to him. I have this pulled up here. He puts Alex on there because that's the pseudonym he uses, Alexander Supertramp. Then he puts his initials on there, CJM, because those are his real initials. But then he puts a frame around it, a skull and crossbones, because we can assume that he's trying to, like, that identity, his old identity is dead to him. A 2-lane blacktop because he is traveling, a no U-turn sign because he is not wanting to go back, right? A thunderstorm producing a flash flood that engulfs a car. Well, that actually happened to him. So while some of these things are symbolic, the crossbones and skull, the 2-lane blacktop, the no U-turn sign, those are symbolic. This thunderstorm engulfing a car, that's literal. And then he has a bunch of places that he's visited and things like that. TCD, Thoreau's civil disobedience, we know how important that is to him. So these are things that he has included on his belt. So for this assignment, you are creating your own electronic belt. So you're going to go through, I have different slides here, and you are including, I'm asking you to include, what are some things you would include, if you had this opportunity, what would you include and why? So you are like, what are your initials, and then what's the story behind your name? So then I did a sample one, and in the assignment, you have a link to my sample one as well. And so then I did put my initials, and then I have an explanation of my first and my middle name. Then whom would you include? So who are your people? Who are your people in your life? Who is important enough to be included on your belt? And then explain. So then I included my husband, my kids, my sister-in-law, my brother, my niece, another picture of my niece, and another picture of my kids. And then I explained who those people are. Then the next one is a symbol that represents you. So down here, I gave a little bit of explanation, kind of what I just did with when I went through the part of the book from chapter 6. And so then my first symbol is, I put books. This is an actual, these are the books that I read over the summer. So I gave an explanation of why I chose them. Then the next one is another symbol that represents you, because he had other symbols, right? So I'm like, okay, well, let's put 2 symbols. So another one I put is this Overcast app, because I use this podcast on my commute to listen to true crime podcasts, but I also listen to a few comedy ones. Then the next one that I'm asking you to do, so this is the first one that I've used. I've gone to Google Images to find an image. So your last slide is to include the links of where you get your images. So slide 3, I use my own photos. Slide 7 and 8, I use my own photos. So I didn't include slides 1 and 2 because slide 1, clearly those are your initials. And I assume your people are going to be your own images as well. I don't think you're going to Google search images of your people. The next slide is What is a road sign that would symbolize your life right now? So Chris McCandless included a no U-turn image on his belt. So what road sign would you pick? So I found this road sign of just someone going everywhere, and then I explained why that was just exactly perfect for me. And then again, for slide 5, I made sure to include a link to where I got that road sign. Slide 7 is what type of nature scene would you include? He put that thunderstorm and flood that engulfs his car. So I put thunderstorms because I love them, and I explained why I like them. Number 7, what type of animal, bird, insect, reptile would you include? So I put my dogs, and then I explained why that is. So for number 7, on this slide, I used my own photo so that I knew. Number 8, what place would you include? I put my house, and I explained what that is. And then McCandless had a lot of different places, so I went ahead and put another place. And I put Hawaii because I really want to go there one day. And that's a stock photo that I Googled. So then for number 9, I made sure to put that. And then the last one, I made a choice because I was like, maybe you would put something on there that I haven't thought of, or clearly I took them from the book, but it's your belt. It's you, right? So what would you put? So I put these images because these are my go-to comfort binge shows. And so that's why I included them. And then again, I put the 3 links of where I got those images from. So that's what you're doing for this assignment for Into the Wild for your belt project. So I think it's a lot of fun. I had fun doing it, so I hope you do too. Let me know if you have any questions.